Hey ladies, what's up? It's Brittany here, back again with another episode of the Ladies Strong Fit Cast. And on today's episode, we have January member of the month, Sara, and we're going to talk about mindset shifts that change your life.
So the big question is this: how were two women who didn't cheat and purchase a gym franchise model, how were they able to spread their mission and purpose by empowering and transforming hundreds of women's lives through fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability with a micro gym business model of women only? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. We are Lady Strong Fitness.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Brittany. Sara, welcome to the podcast and congratulations for being our January member of the month. First member of the month in 2023. Yep. Super excited to have you on here and an OG at that. So it's really exciting to have you here today. I don't know if you haven't been on our podcast yet, have you? Or have you been on here before? I don't think you have. First time for everything, I feel like. Okay, cool. Well, I want to dive right into what we're going to talk about today. So first and foremost, why don't you talk to us about, first off, how you got to LSF and then how long you've been a member?
Okay. Well, I started at LSF. Tiffany, one of the old coaches, she was my neighbor around the corner. My daughter babysat for her. Mm-hmm. And she would see me run laps around our neighborhood. And she's like, you have a gym that you go to? And I was like, not really. You know, I just run. And so she talked me into joining one of the challenges that LSF was doing. And I did terribly in the challenge, but I fell in love with the classes. And I just stuck, and I've been there ever since. So it's been just over 3 years. It was 3 years in October.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah. It's interesting, like how one class a lot of times changes everybody's perspective on group training, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really know, like being in a group is kind of weird. But then you take one class and it's like, wow, like this is cool. I can handle this. Awesome. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about results so far. And I want you to share scale and non-scale, because not everybody's results are always scale, and that's totally fine. Everybody comes into something like this for a different reason. So why don't you just share with the listeners some of the victories that you've had in your journey?
Okay. Well, I didn't need to dramatically lose weight. You know, I've always been around the same weight. And in the past 3 years, I think I'm down 12 pounds total. Okay. Most my focus has been on getting leaner and stronger and muscle, and that, I guess, maintenance phase where you're just, navigating how to eat without gaining back all, tons of weight, and how to continue to grow and get stronger. And I definitely have. I can definitely I did a full push-up when I started, and now I can do, a few before I my knees. And I feel a lot stronger mentally, I think. And just emotional and like mental toughness that I've built up over the 3 years I've been at LSF.
Yeah. And you shared that a little bit in your bio, like how you feel like the mental fortitude that you've gained from going through a program like this has changed a lot of the things on the outside of the studio for you, and how you've gotten through some of the challenges that you faced in your life thus far. And so I feel like that's a massive thing, because, I feel like sometimes if you feel like you can get through a really tough workout, you feel like you can get through just about anything. And so it's like, if I can overcome this challenge, if I can overcome, all of these things, like I feel like some of the, the speed bumps or the road bumps that I face in my life are just something that I just have to move past and work towards. So that's so cool. I definitely agree. You've definitely gotten stronger doing the stronger training, like watch you pick up heavier weights and the deadlifts and the abs bars. Like you've definitely gotten stronger in your journey. And that's perfect. I think sometimes people get so caught up in weight, and it's like, but why? Like, why can't we just work to be stronger? Why can't we work just to be fitter? Why can't we work to just have a stronger mindset? Like those are all things that matter in this journey as well. And so it's not always about the weight. And I love that this conversation is really not about weight loss for you. It's about a lot of other things, which is why I titled it the way that I did, about shifting your mindset to believing in yourself inside and outside of the gym. So very cool. Okay. Next question I have for you is, what is your favorite part of being a member? And I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I would like you to share with the listeners why you love being a part of LSF.
Honestly, it is the community part of it. The girls in the 735 club, they are my family now. We get there 20 minutes early in the freezing cold just so we can stand outside and talk to each other. And I'm having a rotten day and I don't want to come to class, I text them and they will encourage me and send me, support and love and be like, you better be there or we're going to come get you, kind of, And,
and I feel like they would. I feel like they would definitely come get you.
Yes. So I think that's the biggest part is just, I feel like I found a home, they're my home. They're my family. They're the reason I love to come every class. The workouts are challenging, but I know that they're doing it with me. And if I struggle, I'm having a hard time doing push-ups the other day. Kinga, next thing I know, is right next to me, like, let's go. We're doing this together, and it's amazing. I never expected that. None of us knew each other 2 years ago, and crazy. Now we're so close.
Yeah. I love that about the studio. I love that people are finding their very best friends. Like some people are finding the people that stand up with them in their weddings. Like it's just, all of a sudden you're getting wedding invites from people that you would have never thought, or like baby shower invites from people you would have never thought, or whatever the case may be. It's like people do truly become family, and you have a common ground in working on yourselves and like being there to support each other, even when you're not working out, even outside of the studio, when life gets hard. Like, and let's face it, I hear a lot of people say like, as you get older, it's hard to find friends. Like, it's not easy to find friends as you get older. Like you don't have as many social interactions when you get older, like you are in high school or in college, or like all of those things. You don't have those interactions. So to find a group of friends in your age group that can relate to you from the life situation perspective, it's nice. It's nice to have that. It's nice to have that. So I'm so glad that you guys have found that here. It makes me really happy, because that's one of the biggest reasons that we have LSF, is to bring people together, to bring women together, to empower each other, and to really grow inside and outside of the gym. So that makes me really happy. Okay. On to a little bit about you. So I know Marcia was like, you got to talk to Sara about her arthritis, because I know that's something that she's really struggled with. So why don't you kind of give us a little bit of a background of that, like how that came about, if that's something you've always struggled with, maybe how it holds you back in the gym, or how you've been able to kind of work through that, throughout your time here at LSF.
Yeah. So funny thing is, I think what caused it is the way I hold my cell phone and I scroll. And so it's like right in the palm of my hand, that joint. Started maybe a year ago where it was causing me pain, and I was like, what is going on? And then it got to the point where I thought maybe I broke something. Finally went to the doctor, and they told me I had arthritis, which made me feel like I was 95 years old. I'm like, I'm not old enough to have arthritis, but so I had to take it really easy on my hand, things like push-ups, mountain climbers, all of those things, anything that you put in the pressure right on the palm of your hand. I had to really take it for a good 6 months, because it was too much. I couldn't put, but I've been slowly working my way back. I still struggle, and I noticed that I've lost a lot of strength on my left side because of it. And I still, there are times when we have to do mountain climbers and I'm on my elbows on the box doing it, because I can't, it just, just putting it on my just kills me. And it's something I'm trying to overcome. There's nothing they can do medically. I just have to live with it. And, but I'm hoping if I continue to build strength and, get to a point where maybe it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah. And I think that, a lot of people, the whole point of this question was the fact that you never stopped. You never gave up. You never slowed down. You never quit coming. Like that little thing sometimes for some people is just an excuse to be like, well, can't do it anymore. Like I got to stop. And it's like, for you, you're like, nope, I'm going to work past it. Like I'm going to, find other options, I'm going to do what I need to do, but I'm still going to move. I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to work on myself. And I think that that's powerful, right? Because a lot of people choose to allow, aches and pains to stop them from pursuing the things that they want to pursue. And for you, it was like, nope, I'm not letting this stop me. And I think that's a massive testament to the mindset shift that you've had since day one. Like maybe Sara 3 years ago would have been like, oh, I'm just going to go back to my running because this hurts and my running didn't really hurt me that much. So I'm just going to go back to that because that was fine. And I think because you've built up so much mental fortitude over the last 3 years, this for you was like, I'm good. I'll figure it out. It's just another thing in the bucket. So
Yeah, well, that and the coaches have been amazing at helping me come up with modifications when there's something like, how can I do this without using my hand? And they're like, okay, I'll come up with something. And some of the things that they've come up with are wild, but really, and I'm like, can we just do this regularly? Because that was really cool,
Yeah.
But and that's one of the things I love too at LSF is there's always a modification. If you can't do something, if you're struggling, the coaches always help you come up with some way that you can do it or something real similar. They'll get those same exercises in.
Yeah. And that's what's important too, is like, it's like at the end of the day, no matter we're going to meet you where you're at, wherever you're at, we're going to meet you there. Like wherever you are, wherever you start, wherever you end up, wherever you are in the middle, like we will meet you wherever you are at. And we will make sure that you can keep moving, you can keep coming, you can keep working out, you can, and you can stay safe at the end of the day, that you're not pushing your injuries more, or, you're not hurting yourself more. So, shout out to the LSF coaches for helping you guys with that, and for the creativeness apparently that is going on for you inside the workout. So I want to move on to something really exciting that I did not know about you until I read your bio today, is that you're pursuing your nutrition coaching certification, which is almost unheard of sometimes when it comes to members. Like you don't really hear that often. So tell us how that came about, where you are in the process, and what you hope to accomplish with that once you're completed with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always been kind of a health nut. People at work always tease me because they're like, oh my gosh, your lunch is so healthy, and they're eating French fries, whatever. But then last August, we did the 30-day shed and shred challenge. And I was working with Marcel a lot. And my focus, because I wasn't focused on losing weight per se, it was more of a maintenance thing. And totally blew my mind, because my whole life I've always focused on, okay, well, I've got to, be in a calorie deficit. I've got to lose weight. Not building muscle, not eating enough protein, enough carbs to actually see that. I didn't think I could see results without, being in a deficit. And I started kind of looking online, and, there's a million articles and things you can read about how to lose weight, but there's nothing about, or there is, but not a lot about maintenance. How do you stay there? How do you build muscle? How do you, continue after you get to where you need to be weight wise?
Yeah.
And kind of one day I was laying in bed and I was like, you know what? I want to learn more about this. I want to figure it out and kind of understand it for myself. I want to be a nutritionist. And the next day I went online and found a program, signed up, and boom, jumped right in, and
I love that.
Like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work.
But, and what did I get myself into?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been my MO my whole life, is just jump and then look, but but it's really something I actually am very passionate about it, and I'm excited about it. And I want to, once I'm done, I want to be able to help people, whether they need to lose weight or they just need to, they're like me and they want to figure out the maintenance thing, which is, it's still something I'm having a hard time struggling with, and holidays and everything. And, but that's what I would love to be able to help people understand what their body needs and how to get it, and, how to just really still live a normal life and not just constantly be okay, egg whites, chicken and rice,
Yeah.
And, that's kind of the goal. And just really, great. It's selfish for myself, I want to understand
that's so great.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that, well, first off, you're going to have to start charging your 735 AM crew for advice. Once you're certified, you're going to have to put that out there. Like, I'm going to start charging you for every text message you ask me about your food. But I think it's really cool, because I feel like that is the challenging piece to this part, right? When you've lost the weight that you've wanted to lose, what's next? And the what's next is actually harder than getting to your goal. It really honestly is, because it's a mindset shift. It's a shift from being in a calorie deficit to understanding that you have to eat more than your body is actually burning, but it has to be more protein than anything else, especially if you want to build muscle or maintain where you're currently at. And that is a challenge for a lot of people. It is a challenge it's a challenge for me. That's where I'm at right now. And it's hard. It's hard to find the time and the patience to eat that much food every single day and that much protein every single day on a consistent daily basis. That is a challenge. So it's cool that you're taking the time to learn about that. And I think that that's going to help change your perspective. It's ultimately, like you said, at the end of the day, it's selfish for you because you're going to learn so much about it. But at the same time, you're going to be able to impact other people in such a positive way that, you know, you're going to be able to help the yous of the world. Eventually, when you get your certification and you start to really narrow in on, you know, how to make this thing work. So kudos to you. That's so cool. I'm so proud of you for jumping into that because you're a busy lady. You're a mom, you're working out, you're taking care of yourself, and now add nutrition certification to your plate. So hats off to you. I want to wrap up our podcast today, Sara, by asking you the question we always ask everybody. So what advice would you give someone who's a member or a non-member currently right now, who is struggling with some of the things that you'd struggled with before, whether that's your arthritis, whether that's, you know, struggling to figure out your food, whether that's finding a support system, like the Saras of the world 3 years ago who are out there right now, what would you tell yourself 3 years ago that you know now that you could give to the people that are listening?
One, don't give up. You know, no matter what challenges come, just don't give up on yourself. You know, ask for help if you have questions, which is really, really hard for me. I'm very stubborn and try to figure it out. But, you know, I've had to, what can I do? How can I do an exercise, like, you know, without hurting my hand, you know, things like that. And also you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think if you stay in that comfort zone where, you know, I can lift this 10-pound weight a million times and, you know, and I can get through the workout with that, it's not going to help you get to your goals. You have to kind of get to a place where, you know, you're going to be uncomfortable and it's going to suck, but you can get through it and you can, you know, just build that strength mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that, you know, and it helps you get through things outside of the gym as well. You know, like big life changes. I've been through a few in the past few years, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable has kind of been my motto and helped me kind of push through and just be able to get through it and move forward and become who I want to be.
I love that. I love that. Those are two really, really solid pieces of advice. And I think it's honestly a common theme when we ask that question is never give up and get uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, like if you give up on yourself too soon, you miss out on what could come after that. You miss out on the version of you that is still out there waiting for you to find. So I think sometimes when I get unmotivated or, you know, I don't feel like working out or I don't feel like picking that healthier option, I'm always like, but I'm doing my future self a disservice by not making positive choices for myself on a day-to-day basis. So, and I think that, you know, if you want to live a long and healthy life, like you got to make those choices now, but you don't want to give up on yourself too soon because there are so many great positive things out there for you. And then like getting uncomfortable is definitely a big one, right? I think we live in our comfort zones 9 times out of 10 because it's a fear. Most of the time for people who don't want to step outside of their comfort zone, it's a fear of their own failure. Maybe they failed at something in the past and they're afraid that they're going to do it again. Maybe they spent money on a gym membership before and they failed at that and they're afraid that they're going to fail again. It's never a fear of like, what could happen if I actually do this? It's always a fear of like, can I do this? Because in the past, I've never been able to. And I think that, you know, to your point earlier about the community that you found, that community will allow you not to give up on yourself. It will allow you not to fail because you have people around you who are there to like lift you up in the moments that you feel like giving up. So 2 very solid pieces of advice. This was a great podcast. I think people are going to get a lot out of this, Sara. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show with us tonight. Congratulations on being a member of the month. I literally can't wait to see what 2023 has for you. The strength gains that you're going to have, the knowledge gains that you're going to have, the nutritional knowledge you're going to gain. It's going to be an amazing year for you. So thank you so much, ladies. I hope you enjoyed this episode and we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or whatever your favorite place is to listen to podcasts. And if you really liked this episode, please leave a review for us on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.